Hey, good morning, everyone. Dan Finkenstadt with Wolf Day Consulting. Um, so, like everybody else, I was really excited to see the new GPT 4.0 come out in the last couple days that has the multimodal capability. So you can jump between text and audio and imagery and everything, right? But it got me thinking. I've been really wanting to run these negotiation simulations using large language models. The downside to those is you're sort of just exchanging text back and forth, which kind of simulates what you see with like a an email exchange negotiation or something like that. But how do we get after talking to folks in real time around the subject? So I thought, well, now with 4.0 and multimodal capability, could I actually get the AI to take on personas around a negotiation situation and help me prep for that? So I generated first a document that has a negotiation scenario within it around widgets, right? We're buying widgets, and there's a few things at issue, such as efficiency in building the widgets to save the buyer cost, the profit rate, data rights to the widgets themselves, and then the overall cost. So that's just sort of a simple negotiation scenario that we put in that has multiple variables that pull at each other. And so I wanted to see, could I create an AI interaction where by hearing the voice, it kind of simulates the real deal. But I also designed it in a way that it's been taught sort of the five primary negotiation styles, such as being collaborative, being compromising, accommodating, etc., or competing. The other thing I did was I did this interaction yesterday, and I learned some of the ways in which the AI was not operating like realistically, and so I could literally pause the simulation and say, "Hey, pause X. Let's. I need you to don't give in so quickly. That's not typically what would happen. Remember, you have a business that you have to take care of, and you want to profit, and you want to maximize your revenue, and all these different things, right?" And so after that, I was able to actually extract the lessons that the AI learned and then feed it back to it so that it could interact. So what I'm going to try now is we're going to try to hold this widget negotiation again and see how valuable it is. The thing I want you to note is I've uploaded the documents and the training on the desktop, but I'm going to be interacting with the agent through my phone app. So if you haven't seen it, it's probably can't see it here, but there's a little set of headphones right there inside your text window that you hit, and it starts the negotiation. So we'll start and see what we get. Right?
You're welcome. I'm ready whenever you are. Let's make this negotiation a success.
Great. So first off, could you summarize your initial offer to me on all the key points, just so that I'm clear on that?
Of course, here's a summary of our initial offer. 1. Total price $50 million for the entire lot of widgets. 2. Profit margin 15%. 3. Efficiency savings 10%. 4. Data rights, limited access with detailed data lists priced at $1 million each, justified by the significant research, validation, and proprietary technology involved. Does this align with your understanding, or are there any points you'd like me to clarify further?
It does align with my understanding, but could you please pause the simulation and take instructions on how I'd like you to interact with me for future discussions?
Absolutely, I'm pausing the simulation. Please go ahead with your instructions on how you'd like me to interact with you for future discussions.
When normal humans talk to each other, they typically don't list things off like one, blah, 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 two, blah, 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 three, blah, blah, blah. They actually just discuss them in a series, and it's sort of understood that it's an itemized list. Sometimes it's appropriate to list the numbers, but normally that's not typical. Can you be more natural in those interactions in the future?
Got it. I'll make sure to discuss points more naturally in our conversations. If there's anything else you'd like to adjust, just let me know. Ready to continue?
I am. Let's first address the data sessions list and data rights issue.
All right, let's dive into the data sessions list and data rights. We understand your need for broader data access. Our initial offer includes limited access with data lists priced at $1 million each. This pricing reflects the significant investment in research, validation, and proprietary technology involved in compiling and maintaining this data. Could you share more about your specific requirements for data access so we can explore options that might better meet your needs while also protecting our intellectual property?
Yeah, we simply just need a quarterly deliverable listing out all the data that has been generated on the program and will be in the future for these widgets, and then list the rights that we have currently and the rights that we could gain through additional purchasing. I don't think that $1 million is suitable for each one of these lists. In fact, that might be more than we would pay for all lists on the 3-year program that we have. We had come up with a full time equivalent labor rate and material delivery cost of around $350,000 total. Can you tell me if that's not at all feasible or if you were scoping something completely different?
I appreciate your detailed requirements. Our $1 million pricing per list includes not just the creation, but also the continuous validation and secure handling of proprietary data, ensuring accuracy and protecting sensitive information. However, given your estimate of $350,000 total for the quarterly lists over the 3-year program, we can certainly reassess our scope. We might be able to offer a reduced cost if we align the scope more closely with your outlined needs, focusing specifically on the quarterly deliverables and existing rights information. Could we explore a compromise where we refine the deliverables to meet your needs, perhaps at a more feasible price point, say closer to $500,000 for the entire 3-year program? This would still ensure high quality data management while aligning better with your budget.
I'm open to that, although I'd have to see how you arrive at $500,000 versus the 350 that we've offered. Another approach we could take is we could set 350 as a target with the agreed upon fee included in it, and then use a graduated reduced fee rate for any cost over and above 350 as it approaches $500,000. Does that make sense?
That makes sense and seems like a fair approach. Setting $350,000 as the target with a graduated reduced fee rate for costs exceeding that amount up to $500,000 could be a good compromise. We could structure it so that any cost above $350,000 up to $500,000 would have a reduced fee rate, ensuring that both parties share the burden of any additional costs while keeping the overall expenses in check. Would you like to proceed with this graduated fee approach? And if so, how would you like to structure the reduced rate? For example, we could agree on a specific percentage reduction for costs between 350,000 and 500,000.
I was thinking that we could do the agreed upon fee rate for the overall program for up to $350,000 worth of cost. And then for the next $100,000, a reduced fee rate of, say, 2 to 3%. And then the last $50,000 would just be a cost reimbursable item.
That sounds like a reasonable and balanced approach. Here's how we could structure it. One, up to $350,000. The agreed upon fee rate applies. Two, $350,000 to $450,000. A reduced fee rate of 2 to 3%. Three, from $450,000 to $500,000, costs would be reimbursable without an additional fee. This setup allows us to maintain fair compensation while addressing your budget constraints. Shall we proceed with these terms, or is there anything else you'd like to adjust?
I'd like to lock in that term for this point in the negotiation and not come back to it unless there's a larger discussion on overall cost or profit that could impact the scope.
Great, we'll lock in that term. Let's move on to the next topic. Would you like to discuss the total price, profit margin, or efficiency savings next?
It's probably best that we talk about efficiency savings as that impacts the total price and definitely the amount of profit that we would offer given the amount of risk you would take in that cost efficiency that you're willing to take on.
That makes sense. Our initial offer includes a 10% efficiency saving, acknowledging your previous investments. However, We understand the need to find a balance that works for both parties. Given the impact on total price and profit margin, we could consider increasing the efficiency saving to 12%. This adjustment reflects the improvements and cost factors we've accounted for while still ensuring we maintain a sustainable operation. Would increasing the efficiency savings to 12% align better with your expectations? Or do you have a different target in mind?
Well, our initial counteroffer was 20%. 12% we could possibly accept, but we would be talking about an overall profit range of 8 to 9%, given those efficiencies. If you were willing to take a more aggressive stance, we could offer fee in the 10 to 11% range.
Understood. To find a middle ground, we could propose the following. We increase the efficiency savings to 12%. In exchange, we maintain the profit margin at around 10% to 11%. This would reflect a balanced approach, recognizing your need for higher efficiency savings while ensuring we sustain a reasonable profit margin. Would this proposal work for you, or do you have specific adjustments you'd like to discuss further?
Pause the simulation. I would like you to reconsider your offer and come back and say, on second thought, you don't agree. And I'd like you to take a more aggressive stance on keeping the efficiencies at the level you have and pushing for maximum fee.
Understood. I'll take a more aggressive stance on maintaining our initial efficiency savings offer and push for a higher profit margin. Resuming the simulation. On second thought, we believe maintaining the efficiency savings at 10% is more reasonable, given the ongoing improvements and cost factors we've accounted for. With these savings, we need to ensure a sustainable profit margin. Therefore, we're firm on keeping our profit margin closer to 15%. This approach guarantees the quality and reliability of our widgets while addressing the necessary efficiencies. How does this sound to you?
I don't think that we can continue this discussion if that's your position. We definitely need to see more efficiencies and a lower profit range. I'm thinking 12% efficiency would be acceptable and a 10% fee. If you can't accept that, I'd like to stop negotiations and go back to our leadership.
And the importance of reaching a mutually beneficial agreement, we're willing to meet you partway. We can agree to 12% efficiency savings and a profit margin of 11%. This adjustment respects your need for higher efficiency savings while ensuring we can maintain the quality and deliverables of the project. Does this revised offer work for you?
Can you tell me really quickly what that does to our overall price? That will help me decide.
These terms would be approximately 48.285 million. Does this revised calculation help with your decision?
I think you failed to back out the original 15% from your $50 million before you took into account your 12% cost efficiencies. Can you do that first and then recalculate?
You're right. Let's correct that. Total price $37.76 million approx 41.911. Does this revised calculation help with your decision?
Well, you went so fast, it was hard to understand the numbers you were saying. So if you don't mind, could you just give me the total price that we have now arrived at?
The revised total price with the updated terms is approximately $41.914 million.
I agree to those terms. Would you do me a favor and draft up meeting minutes of this discussion along with all the key points, all of our exchanges, and how we arrived at the final price with rationale for price, fair, and reasonableness to support my agreement?
Here are some key lessons learned from this interaction to improve future simulations. 1. Natural conversation flow. Maintaining a natural conversation flow without listing items explicitly improves the realism of the negotiation. 2. Detailed justifications. Providing detailed justifications for pricing and terms is crucial, especially for items like the data sessions list. Ensuring these justifications are clear and well supported can help facilitate agreement. 3. Adaptability. Being adaptable and ready to change negotiation styles or approaches based on feedback is essential.
So I'll stop it at that point. But as you can see, it's pretty amazing, right? Like, it's just a really, really nice experience for running through different types of simulations. There's a whole host of other things that I'll be bringing up that you can do with this, but this was one that had direct application to contracting